Welcome back to the Happy No Fear podcast. As always, I'm your host, Chase. And on this week's episode, we have a painter and also a person who is a sober companion. Let's find out what that is and what that's all about. He paints beautiful, bright, social commentary-esque / with a lot of humor paintings, and I dig him a lot, and he's a friend of mine. So without further ado, give it up for Sean Kushner.
What up, man?
There you go. There you go.
There he is. Good to see you, my man.
Good to see you too.
What's poppin'? Did you go surfing today?
I did.
You did, huh? You go surfing every day?
No.
No? Why not?
Because there's not good waves every day.
That's
Today
true.
included.
Man, I think it's crazy to be out there, man. Like, you don't think about sharks and all kinds of crazy
No,
shit?
dude.
Yeah?
I'm more afraid of people on land than I am of sharks.
That's for real?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, because...
You have a higher... like, when it comes to statistics, you have a higher chance of getting hit in the head by a coconut and dying than being bit by a shark.
That's for real?
Yeah.
Yeah? It still seems scary out there. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I was in Hawaii once on a longboard, first time I ever surfed, and it started drizzling, right? And all of a sudden, like literally like 3 feet away from me, I see this giant dinosaur in the form of a turtle, a sea turtle, peeking its head up, like biting at shit. And I'm like, damn, this is fucking crazy right now. You know, like that thing was right there all along. It's like 6 foot wide. Could have been my ass that he was biting
Volkswagen
at.
fucking sized turtles.
Woo! Bananas, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get fucking scared out there. I mean, there's times I can sense it sharky.
It is sharky?
Sometimes, yeah.
How do you know when it gets sharky?
Dude, it's something weird. Like, your senses just go off.
Like Spidey sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You're just like, oh yeah, there's some shit out here right now.
No shit.
Yeah.
And then what do you do? You stay in there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Stay out there.
Yeah. Do they have like fluorescent bodysuits now so sharks don't think you're a seal?
I mean, I know they have shit, but I don't fucking wear it.
You don't wear it? You just
No.
go straight black?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I just want to look as much like a seal as possible.
So you can cash that insurance check.
Exactly. No, I don't
Or
think you get an
whatever.
insurance check.
No, that's true. You got to have a special insurance.
You
for
need
that.
to have insurance.
So good. I'm happy you're here, man. As you know, but maybe everyone else doesn't know, I'm a big fan of your work. I think it's absolutely right now. You know, I like the looseness of it. The colors, as you know, I'm all about those colors. It's fucking pop and fluorescence. It feels to me like it's like a throwback to like Mad Magazine kind of vibe. You know, that looseness and then that unabashed, beautiful word. I'm so proud as an immigrant to have a $10 word.
Where did you Google that one?
I just Googled it in my mind. I had it in my back pocket for like 10 days already. So that unabashed, like, you know, just like, I'm just going to call it for what it is. You know, the culture, politics, stupid, you know, social media, hype, and people that like want to come up that way. You just fucking say it and you just fucking paint it. I love that shit, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, for real. So how did you, and because I know like painting for you is like a recent thing, yeah?
Well, I
Relatively
mean,
recent.
What do you mean?
Like in your life.
No, I mean, I grew up like painting and drawing and everything, but I stopped for a long time.
Or that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was like, I grew up in like a family of artists. Like my little brother was like a child prodigy under this guy named Christopher Still, who's like a realism artist that's like super famous down in Florida, like over in like the Clearwater, Tampa area, and sells his pieces for a ton of money. And he's like, my little brother was like a prodigy, and I was like the one that had like, I was like always like the abstract dude. So my parents were just like, they didn't take it seriously because my little brother could like replicate something. He could like literally look at something and he could like draw it like exactly like it. And like then I would do something. They'd be like, "Yeah, you should probably go like find a new hobby."
Yeah.
And then I kind of
so they
they
dissuaded you.
No, they weren't like super supportive. They were just
shit.
like,
That's a bummer when you got like some kid brother who's better than you at something, but you like it also.
He was a lot better though.
Yeah.
So so then he ended up going to like art school and everything, and I was kind of just like always like semi jealous, low key.
Yeah.
And then I started partying, but like I grew up South Florida, like tagging, just doing dumb shit and sketching and drawing and stuff. But
that's why you did graffiti and all that shit.
But never took it anything seriously. Like it wasn't until, and then I started partying and then kind of like went down a rabbit hole.
Tell us about that, because I know you went down, like everyone's gone down a few little rabbit holes, but I think you went down like
I went down like a really, really deep one. I was like, let me see how far I can go down. There's got to be like a carrot that tastes better than the one that's up on land. So I'm going to see how deep I can go to get like the super tasty carrot.
Deep inside the burrows.
Yeah, deep in the burrow.
And what were the drugs of choice, or did it matter?
I mean, I did everything. Yeah. I've done everything from smoking crack and heroin to, Xanax, alcohol, weed, pills, lean, acid, mushroom, like everything. I did a lot of it. And then from like 19 till 25, I was just like working construction, ended up homeless, like never, I wasn't painting. I had other things I was trying to do.
Right. And so while you were working, were you still partying at the same time? Or
I was nonstop.
Yeah.
Nonstop from like 19 to 25,
just going berserk.
Totaled 6 cars. Yeah. Lost my license.
Totaled 6 cars?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Totaled 6 cars. Lost my license.
Your own cars?
Yeah. Well, one was somebody else's. My friend came home from the Marines. He was like over in Iraq, and he came home and he was on leave, and he was like, gave me some money to go get some shit. And he's like, here, take my car, go get that shit. And I'm going to go and like, I'm working valet part-time while I'm home. So I'm going to go work and just like, I'll meet you when I get off. I was like, okay, cool. So I went and got what he wanted me to get.
What was it? What do you want you
Oxys.
To get? Oxys.
Yeah, a lot of oxys. And then I was like, I'm going to go to the gym. I go and I like go to make a left turn. And I was already under the influence and kind of like decided to make a left turn and, 2 other cars decided to keep going straight down the road like they were supposed to, and they both hit me. I got T-boned by 2 cars in my friend's Audi, and I was just like,
Jesus fucking Christ,
this is gonna be a bad day.
Fucking hell, man. But physically, like
nothing. Ever.
So and that's why I think you could keep going, because like unless if I'm like debilitated or something.
Yeah, I had like very, very few like real consequences. I had to get arrested here and there, and like.
But did you ever do time for anything or possession or something, or ODs or anything like that?
I mean, not that I know of. Like I know I ended up. I mean, I woke up in a couple ambulances from seizures and like overdoses, but nothing like, oh my god, like I almost died. I never realized it, because I would wake up and be like, oh,
like waking up with a seizure in an ambulance. Your response was like, well, it's not like I died.
Like I hope that it's still under my car seat where I left it.
Yeah. Wow. So right out the hospital, you go back and find the rest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So it was from like 19 to 25. That's like what I did.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting sober.
Yeah.
And then I was sober for like.
How hard was that? Like to come out of this Tasmanian whirlwind, just going ape shit, fuck it. Like let's
so I got sober the first time, and I had like 9 or 10 months where I didn't do anything. And then I kind of was like, I had a problem with drugs. I think alcohol and weed I can still do. So I was like, I'm going to try smoking weed and drinking again.
Right.
And then I ended up, selling drugs again, getting into grimy shit.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, one of my friends, his mom was murdered. And like, there was this whole thing that I got pulled into with that. And I just fled and came to California and went to rehab.
Yeah. How did you get pulled into that?
Because I was there the day before it happened. And just some stuff that was happening, like, with all that, like I got pulled in as a suspect, and he told the police I was his alibi, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because he was all
and
fucked
you're
up.
Probably high as fuck getting.
Yeah, he was high too. At first, I was like, "Why did he tell the police I was his alibi? It's probably him." And then I'm like thinking it's him, and then he's like, "I don't know. This is weird. Some things going on with my family." I'm like, "Come live with me, bro. It's fine. You'll be safe over here. You got some drugs."
Yeah.
And it just got really crazy, really quick, And then I came out to California to get like away from that, and they were going to extradite me from treatment back to Florida.
No shit.
Yeah.
Because you were still a suspect or something.
Yeah.
No shit. Is that cleared
still
up now?
Well, I'm cleared. They ended up clearing me through a surveillance video, but it's still an unsolved crime.
Wow. Crazy, man.
It's trippy.
Bananas. So what was your link to Cali then? Was it skateboarding or like?
I just
felt like I need another like.
I need to go far away from Florida.
Yeah. It's the complete other side of America.
Yeah.
Because you could have went anywhere.
I know.
So Cali. So you came straight to LA.
So I came to Cali, and then I've been sober ever since.
Nice, man.
Yeah. So It's almost 12 years.
Congrats, man.
And
well done.
So like maybe 7 years into it, I started just, doing a bunch of different things for work. And then I started just getting the itch to like draw and paint again for some reason. I don't even remember what caused it. And I just started doing these like, social commentaries. Like I started, because I read a lot of comics growing up. That was like the one outlet I had when I was high, whatever. Smoked a lot of weed growing up and just loved comics. Loved Mad Magazine, loved Robert Crumb, Weirdo Magazine.
Robert Crumb is the man.
I love all that shit. And I just started doing like these social commentaries out of boredom, and then started posting them on the fucking gram. The gram. Gotta love the gram. And then people responded, and then I was like, oh, I like attention. So I was like, then it was like, cool, I guess I'll keep doing these.
Yeah, it works out. And it's so dense. Like every painting is actually like 8 or 9 or 12 little panels, which are like individual paintings and concepts in and of themselves. But the fact that they're all in like a big painting, I think that's so cool, man.
And it's weird because I've like, the longer I've been doing them, I've simplified it a little bit because people started getting super confused and lost, and like they couldn't. So I actually started simplifying it and doing like trying to keep it to like one like idea. They're all like based on like an idea, and then they're like all a bunch of offshoots. But then lately I've been trying to like just keep it like cleaner and simpler because
if that's a glimpse into your mind, and obviously you got a lot of energy, but then I imagine that mind, on a binge night, I can imagine that must have been bananas.
It was pretty bad. Yeah.
So that's that's bananas.
So then it just kind of blossomed from that.
Yeah,
and then started hanging out with old painter friends again, and then next thing I know, I'm like back in it.
Yeah. And now it's like it's a thing you do all the time.
Yeah.
And you're also a sober companion. Yeah. Which is, I think no one really knows about it, especially worldwide. Maybe it's like is it a California thing or an LA thing?
No, it's worldwide.
It's worldwide. Yeah.
I mean, I've gone to different countries and done it.
Yeah. With the client you had from LA.
I've literally had to go to like Peru and find a guy that was like tripping on ayahuasca and mushrooms and like acid and like schizophrenic, and have to find him and then like bring him back to the States. And
tell to people what sober companioning actually is, because I think it's super cool. It's
you basically I help people either get sober, or I help people that have mental illness, find like whatever path they're trying to like I help them find a path in life that help them grow in some way or another, whether it be in sobriety or whether it be in like their everyday life because they have mental illness and they have, life skill issues. I just, I do a bunch of different things.
Right. So I can imagine like because you kind of, it's like almost like a CIA mission. You get a call, let's say you're working with a family, and let's say the son has been a client, and, you got a regular like rapport with the guy. Then all of a sudden he's on a binger somewhere in Colombia or some shit. Right. And then you got to go over there and like kind of gently convince him, obviously.
To like leave the dope house.
Yeah. So you got to have powers of persuasion.
Yeah.
And also, also take command. Because how slippery is a fish when he wants to use? He's partying. He's having a good time, man. All of a sudden, Sean shows up, hired to like really get this person back to LA.
Hey, we're gonna go on a little hike.
Yeah, but he already knows you. He's like, man, I know you're sober. I know I am choosing not to be right now. So I mean, you got to have a million stories about like
I've got some
shit not working out.
Some pretty crazy ones.
Yeah. What's one like that one that's memorable?
Some have confidentiality agreements.
Oh,
some don't.
We'll call them Mr. X.
Allegedly.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird ones though.
Because when a person doesn't, let's say, they're out there somewhere, let's say at a hotel, or they rented a spot or whatever it is, and they've been in it now for like maybe 6-7 days, right? And then you finally get there, and the guy's like, you know what? I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And you are fucking harshing my mellow right now, bro. You know what I mean? You're fucking killing my party, man. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
How do you like? You leave? Do you come back? Do you stay? Do you hug the guy?
It just depends. It depends on the person. I just kind of like assess the situation, feel it out, and then I just try to like the ones I don't know. I just try to become their friend real quick, and then just try to drop little seeds, and then eventually convince them to leave wherever they're at.
Yeah. And the seed is like
just.
There's another way, but without getting like evangelical about it.
I just Yeah,
you know, you don't show up with a Bible and like.
Yeah, you just kind of like try to dive into their head. For me personally, I start talking to them. I get an idea of who they are, and then I just kind of use whatever information they give me against them, and like form some sort of rapport with them, and then make them feel comfortable. And then after I make them feel comfortable, then I just kind of get them to do.
Because I know I've been stubborn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And give me too many drinks, or I've had bad nights or whatever. I don't want to hear shit from fucking nobody. You know, especially some guy. Who the fuck are you? You're showing up. I have a feeling that must be tricky most of the time.
It's been pretty tricky. Definitely not.
But legally, you can't
you can't
do anything.
No, you can't force anybody to do anything.
Right. So and what do you think is like? But it's usually people that have been in recovery and maybe relapse or something. So there was some indication that
those are actually the ones.
Those are the easier ones, probably.
You know, they're like because they have like they know that they don't want to be doing what they're doing, or they're running out of money. So there's like a part of them that's like, fuck, I got to do something.
Yeah.
It's the ones that are like, nah, dude, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you got to be kind of tricky with.
And props to you too, because one day at a time, as they say, right? Yeah. But sometimes you're like, maybe you're going through your own personal life. You know, everyone has ups and downs. All of a sudden, you end up in a situation where it's like party.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I'm out of the goddamn country. Let me see what's up here. You know, the temptation must have been there for a while, or maybe it isn't.
For me personally, I've been very fortunate to where once I stopped partying, I knew I was done because like I've just been, I went through so much gnarly shit, and like after being homeless and like, I mean, I grew up in South Florida. Like my family's not like I didn't grow up in a ghetto.
Right.
So like for me ending up like on the streets and like, stealing cars and ripping people off.
Yeah.
It's, it's like every fiber of my being was like, I'm not this person. I don't want to live like this anymore. And like, so when I finally stopped, like I haven't been tempted to do anything. I mean, now that like weed's legal, it like some of that shit looks really appetizing, but
like an edible or something.
Nah, if I was gonna do it, I'd just go straight and buy like a pound.
Yeah.
If I was gonna do it, I would do it right. I'd be like, all right, we're gonna get a pound. We're gonna get the dab machine. We're gonna get a couple ounces of dabs, and I would do it right if I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing. That's the thing that separates me from like somebody else. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to California and get like a half-eighth and like smoke a couple hits before I go to Six Flags. I'm like, I want to be holed up in my house. Yeah. I want to get a bunch of series on TV. I want to turn my phone off. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I'm gone. Like I want to check out. Like that's a wrap. I don't want to I don't want anything from anybody out there. I just want to like be alone.
Yeah, internalize it and go on my own trip. Wasn't because in the AA community, when people are unsure, but recognizes there's like the secret handshake with words is sort of like, hey, Bill? Yeah. Are you friends with Bill, right?
Yeah.
And Bill is the founder of AA. And this happened like in the 50s, I think it was?
30s,
yeah. Which is, I mean, bless that guy. How many people has he helped? Yeah. But I recently heard that he had a partner. It was Bill and someone else?
Dr. Bob,
right? So
Bill he actually did LSD when he had a couple.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He had a couple years sober, and back then, like they didn't really know what they were creating
psychedelics
with the program or anything like that. And like he actually went and met up with Timothy Leary and did acid with Timothy Leary, and they like were just talking about all these different religions and all these different ideas and all these different platforms for spirituality. And then they were like, okay. And then fucking there you have like a book that they make.
Right.
Which is so trippy.
Yeah. And I heard like a lot of it was inspired whilst being on, I think it was LSD or there's some talk about early ayahuasca or some shit. Maybe
I have no idea. Yeah. I just know that he was doing acid with Timothy Leary.
And I think, within the program, it's allowed because it's sort of like a medicine drug rather than a recreational drug. Like for example, ayahuasca.
As much as I wouldn't do it. Like I would love to be able to like once a year be like, oh, I'm gonna go and do ayahuasca and really get an idea of and really just kind of assess my year and categorize the things that worked and the things like I would love to be able to do that.
I haven't done ayahuasca.
I wouldn't do it.
I tried DMT a couple of times and it's not at all I mean, I'm not trying to sell you here, but maybe I am. Who knows?
DMT's sick.
Yeah. Have you tried? Did you try that in the past?
Yeah.
Really? That was already happening back then. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
So
but isn't it? And I think they said, well, there's a category, and it's plant medicine actually, and they were aware of that in the 30s. So there's sort of like an out to try some things if it's for you.
I'm sure, and I know people. I personally know people that do that and still say that, like, yeah, I'm still sober and I go to meetings and stuff. Yeah. But like, I just think that for me, it's, I don't know. That's a trippy one. It's
a trippy one because it could springboard back into like, man, I got a taste of getting out of my controlled self, and who knows what's gonna happen when I
it's like putting a fucking monster to sleep. You're like, okay, come on, little guy, we're gonna go to sleep, and we're gonna try to put you to slumber forever. Let's get you like Rip Van Winkle for the rest of your life. You're gonna sleep, and my life's gonna be okay. And then you're like, hey, Rip Van Winkle, wake the fuck up! Like, I mean. I don't want to wake Rip up.
If everything is chill now, you know, like let's leave it.
I mean, I'd love to.
It's interesting to talk about. So your friends that do that are sober, like, do you see them abuse it, or does it really help them in some deep way? Or do you think it's bullshit? Or do you think it's bullshit? Is this their cop out and they're trying to like,
that's what I think.
Not be sober or something.
Yeah, that's what I think. Okay. They're like trying to find other ways to like get out of themselves and. Whatever. I don't want to judge anyone for that. So normally I don't even talk about it. I'm just like, yeah, whatever works for you, whatever you want to do, go for it. Yeah. I personally just like, that's not really a line I want to cross.
That makes sense. Yeah. All this is super interesting, man.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
It's okay. I find your story super interesting, and I've been getting sober lately too for about 4 or 5 months. You say you came from Florida, right?
Yeah.
And a suburb that was kind of cool. And not to get all personal and everything, but for someone listening that's just like, I know like drugs and that shit doesn't discriminate whether you're poor or rich. But is it just one of those things where you tried it because of a friend, or you were like feeling down when you were younger?
I mean, I grew up. I mean, my uncle drank himself to death 2 years ago. So like, and I'm not going to really like talk about my family, but addiction and alcoholism run rampant in my family.
Okay.
Like throughout my whole family. There's other members of my family that are sober. And I grew up, like I was depressed and like kind of like I knew there was something off with me since I was like 9 or 10 years old. Like I've always like, if I'm going to be real, it's like I had started having like suicidal thoughts even as like a young kid.
No shit.
So it's like, it's definitely like there was something like weird and off with me since I was young. So, and then drugs and alcohol, like drugs were a solution for me for a long time. Like they kept me probably from killing myself. But then eventually they stopped working. They started working against me. So like they made me feel good and they were fun. They were an escape and they worked for a long time. And then when they stopped working, then it's like, then shit gets really dark. Yeah. So, but I don't think it discriminates at all. I think that, I mean, I've got friends that grew up in the ghetto and got sober. I've got friends that were super rich and got sober, and they've all felt the same way. Right. They would wake up every morning like this doom and gloom kind of thing about their day, and they were just like, what do? I don't know what's wrong with my life. Like, I'm just going to get high because like I need to escape.
Right.
So
it's like an inside thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think it's like a soul sickness.
Yeah.
Is what because I don't want to get like all biblical or anything, but like I believe that there's some sort of higher power out there. There's like the sun is just far enough away that we don't burn alive when we walk outside. So there's like something out there that's like, there's a connectivity that I believe in. And I think that like people have a tendency to go light and dark.
Of course.
And I think that some people just have more of a soul sickness than others. And for me, like for a long time, like I was like a very, very just dark, depressed, sad person. Yeah. And like, I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously there's something that I found in being sober and staying sober that worked for me personally. And I've seen it work for people rich that got sober, poor that got sober, ghetto, legs blown off, like all different people that all felt the same way. So
and do you think that point of you getting sober and staying there, is it a point where you just kind of like surrendered?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to go back to that.
Yeah.
And
it's so funny because I literally got a commission to do a little painting, and this guy found me on Instagram. He's like, "Oh, I like your work, blah 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 blah," and then like we got to talking, and then he's like, "I got sober a few years ago," and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Tell me more."
yeah.
And I kind of like, because I don't like put it all out there, but like I'm pretty open. I don't care anymore, but like I kind of like to get to know what someone's deal is before I kind of like let them know what mine is fully.
Right.
And he was just giving me a couple ideas for what he wanted to do for his painting. I'm literally like, if you ever go to an AA meeting, it's a bunch of folding chairs, and I have like 2 folding chairs talking to each other on the top panel, and it's Bill and Bob are the 2 chairs like with faces on them, and I have Bill saying one thing and then Bob saying, "Yeah, Bill, I kind of have to stick to that surrender to win mentality. So it's 100% surrender to. Yeah. It's like a surrender to win. You have to be like, okay, like when I drink and do drugs, it doesn't. Like I can't manage my life like my friend Sam can. Like he can, get high on the weekends, and he's like, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna put it down. Right. It's like, for me, it's like Saturday. Okay, well, what about Sunday? What about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now? Right. It's like, why not?
Yeah. So, I feel like I'm in that space. I'm just like, I can't. I'm ready to just. I don't want to go backwards, and I couldn't trust myself to be like, is it going to be tonight or am I going to be back in 3 days?
Yeah,
like, having a good time. So, yeah, I feel like I'm at that surrender point.
It's the thing. Like once you put one in, and if you're the person that puts one in, you don't know when you're going to be able to stop.
Yeah,
like that's when you have to start taking a look at things. And
yeah, that was getting scary.
Yeah.
Oh, like when we start with a beer, for example, and then you don't know. Oh, I'm just having a beer, but you're saying if it leads to like all of a sudden it's like a day later or something.
Well, I mean, for me personally, like
the beginning of the sequence starts with one drink.
Yeah, it literally started with I was like 10 months out, like good. My life got like I went from being homeless, going to like a free detox at like a state-run hospital, staying on the street for 3 days for them to let me in, to getting in and like getting my life back together and having a car, a girl, girlfriend, a new pad, money in the bank, a TV on my wall, like had all these things. And I'm like, okay, well, like maybe it's not so bad. I can probably, maybe it's like I was young, or maybe like I just got stuck in like doing these things.
A little glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it out. And I literally starts with one drink. And within 3 months, I'm like getting pulled over for, like whatever was happening, and getting arrested out front of my building because I didn't pay my power bill, and I fell asleep in my car with the car running, and like all these just different things. Like within a few months, it's that's not normal shit.
Yeah, so, like a sequence of fuck ups.
Yeah.
Or just when you could really think about it, like that's not even me. Like how the fuck am I, falling asleep in my car and doing all this shit, Yeah, because there is that point where you stop giving a fuck about anything other than escaping your reality, right? And when there's a lot of pressure, when there's a lot of anxiety, when there's a lot of just like that doom and gloom feeling. I felt it before too. I've had like depressions and stuff. And I get it from my mother, who's still in the hospital now, 25 years, just mentally ill and stuff. So I stay so aware of everything. And I've had my moments in life, but I always see her, and I'm like, fuck, I can never end up like that.
Yeah, that might be the one thing that's kept you from crossing the line. Like you're always afraid of ending up like her, but like, I mean, I know people that are like that too.
Yeah.
That healthy fear.
Yeah, and that's probably a good thing. But I've had my moments. Yeah, I've definitely had my moments. And then, you categorize that as, but I can see that categorization.
Seasonal depression.
Or whatever. Yeah. But then when you partake in this escapism, I can see how it produces more depression, because you feel so bad about yourself.
Yeah.
The recovery time, like, all this sort of stuff. And I also see that you start to come up with excuses when the depression is gone, or the rebound is now over, that you start creating excuses why that was just then and it's okay. I can see a little bit what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What could lead to like fully like going all in and like just not giving a fuck, because Because what the fuck is going on in life anyway? That's so interesting, right? As you're suffering through all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think, yeah, those little thoughts, well, how's it go? Thoughts start off as cobwebs and end up as chains, right? So certain thoughts start off as cobwebs, you can just brush that away, but can end up as chains, right? That's some deep shit right there, man. You can put that in a painting. So no, it's just interesting, it's interesting because in Belgium where I'm from, like, and same in Germany and a lot of places, like all the time at 10 in the morning, or as soon as there's any sun or whatever, people are sitting outside at these tables and they're ordering like heavy duty beers. They're drinking heavy at lunch. And it's old people, young people, and it's everywhere. You know? So there's like a social alcoholism there that I obviously I live in LA. So I just went there and I'm like, man, everyone's fucking drunk over here.
Yeah, my grandfather's from France. And
so
like he's, he that's just normal.
Yeah.
Like they grew up, like my mom grew up in a household where it's like, you drink starting in the morning, like you have like a mimosa and then like, then
you don't feel bad about it.
And then you black out on wine by dinner time and, like don't forget your afternoon nap.
Yeah. You get a little siesta. Yeah. And then there's aperitivo, it's a drink before dinner while dinner's being made. That's a big thing in Belgium, and it's an Italian thing. So let's say if someone cooks, at the house or whatever, you get a few people together, and then it's aperitivo, So
aperitivo.
It's an Italian thing where you make like a little mixed drink, to open the palate, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You have a couple of those, then dinner's ready by like 8,
So you can really know how to taste the food, like,
But no one ever worries about it there. Like, I don't feel like, maybe it's because it's the old country and like things like therapy are still a little bit frowned upon.
Yeah.
I mean, our idea of a drunk over there is like literally a guy that can't walk a straight line. He's like the neighborhood drunk. That guy's got a problem. All of us.
He lives under a bridge. I don't live under a bridge.
Or whatever, And everyone else is drinking way more than anyone does here.
No.
And it's not even mentioned. It's not even a thing, So it's interesting how there's cultural differences there too. And I forget the point. But,
Can I ask one last question?
Yeah.
That's it, I promise. I know you want to segue more into the art, but how...
No, I like this part.
How did you like get into helping people? And I'm just curious, is it like a government thing or is it a private eye thing? Like
I literally started working at a rehab because I couldn't get a job doing anything else because I had like no life skills besides, telemarketing fraud or selling drugs or like my skill set was so low that I just started working at a rehab and then found that I was good at like talking to people and helping people. And I went from that to, it just segued into a different rehab. And then I started doing different things and eventually it just led to what I'm doing now. Just like,
so it's like a private sector thing. It's not like
no, it's not
like
government.
You don't work for
I work for
Uncle Sam or anything.
Usually rich people.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, there's no real government programs.
That's the tough part. Like I wish that I could like if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would only help people that couldn't like afford treatment and stuff. That's like those are the people that I would want to work with.
Right.
I don't like.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's obvious, on any given night, there's, I guess, 20,000 people that are homeless.
No.
I would say at least 40% of those have addiction problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
or mental health issues.
Not only just homeless people, but like even there's a lot of people out there that are like just day to day working,
right?
Average class people that can't afford to like get help or whatever and don't know what to do. Like I would love to be able to work with people, for fun and for free. Is like that's like how they
because it's really expensive, right? Like let's say 30 days in rehab these days. What was it cost?
So
expensive. Like 20 grand or something?
20 to 60 grand. Some places, if you want a private room, it's 75 grand for a month.
I'd get sober. I just can't afford it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy.
Give me that night train, bro.
And that's the crazy thing. Like a lot of the people that come from money. Grand. They're so spoiled. They're like, oh, I gotta dry out, and like they can afford treatment and stuff. So like there's this huge market of making money off people.
Yeah.
So it's like
a lot of Malibu centers and stuff. Yeah.
A lot of those people like they don't want to stay sober. They just want to like go to a nice place and like clear out, and then
and then
there's like people that really, really, really want and need it. They're like would never be able to afford it or never be able to take off work, or they have kids and they can't, like trying to manage like going to like a detox or something when they have like they're raising kids on their own or like can't afford to like get fired from their job. Like it's crazy.
So the only like true savior then is AA and NA.
Yeah. I mean,
that's worldwide, right? Yeah. That's pretty much in every country.
Yeah. The way I look at it is like you go to treatment, you're getting like a $30,000 big book, and like you're getting like that's what you're like. You can do therapy and stuff, and it's cool, but like at the end of the day, like going to like AA is like that's where I found what I was looking for.
I went with a few times with Danny. She got a cake, I think. I forget.
Yeah.
I think you were there too, maybe.
Probably.
Like it was like a 9-year cake or something. I forget what it was. So cake is when every year is a cake.
Oh yeah.
And I'm such an idiot. I thought, oh man, good, we're gonna eat some cake. But there's no. I mean, it's
sometimes,
but it's like a metaphorical.
Yeah. So I went there and.
What's this plastic fucking cupcake you're blowing a candle out on? I can't eat that. Where's the cake?
It's so powerful actually because everyone in the room. This was Sunset Downers, I think it's called.
Sundowners.
Yeah. It's by Cedar Sinai, and that's a popular one, I guess.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons, but it's like I don't know, like 200 people in there, and the humility in there was so amazing. Yeah. Man. No shit, my man. Okay. Sean has just showed us what?
Just for today, brother.
Bam, that's right. It works if you work it. I'm taking a sip off my Modelo over here. But so I went into that room and I'm like, wow, this is special, man. Because I kind of grew up a little bit Catholic and I was forced to go to Catholic school and had some church experience. But that wasn't, but I'm not linking it to that. And then every once in a while, I'll go into a church just to see what the vibe is like, because there's something going on here with people that want to better themselves. I think that's an interesting atmosphere. So when I went to, what is it, Sundowners?
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like, the humility in the room, and there's rock and rollers in there, there's famous people, there's regular, everybody together. But there was that common thread, and I'm sure that sense of community is... like it must work, I mean, it does work.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful thing to see. Yeah. And maybe I'm stating the obvious here. But no, I think that's powerful, man. Like AA.
I mean, if it didn't work, I wouldn't still be there.
Right, exactly.
Do
you find yourself going
I'm a fairly intelligent guy. Like I would have figured out a different way.
Right. So you go a lot still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like a couple of times a week or once a month?
2 times a week.
Yeah. Okay, good. Nice, man. Dope. So next step for you is gonna be walls, man.
I still find a wall here and there and just mess around, but I mean, I'm just when it comes down,
if you paint your stuff on walls, it's bananas.
Nobody's giving me a wall yet. Yeah. I would though.
Well, you gotta. You know what you do when you gotta go get a guy from Peru? That's how you gotta go get walls. Yeah, you got to go in there, and the guy doesn't want to see you. It's like, man, what do you want from me, right? You got to go in there.
That's why it's like it's tough because it's like I go about my daily business and like I have like my daily work that I do, and then I paint when I have time off. It's like the last thing I want to do is try to go, beg somebody to give me a wall to paint.
I know it sucks.
It's
it's again humility. Like here's some guy, he has a liquor store. I always buy something when I go in there just to like, I bought my conversation with the guy, so I get like $10 worth of shit. And then, okay, here's the little pitch. And it's like, man, I'm trying to give you my love here. You know what I mean? Your wall needs it. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't accept what I'm trying to give you here. On top of that, I'm going to pay for it. You know what I mean? And then like, oh, no, I don't want no trouble. It's like, oh, man, can I just holler at you for a second? It's frustrating.
Can I fucking paint some colors on your wall and make it more appealing to look at? And it'll probably bring more people in because...
Exactly.
No. Change is weird. Can't do change.
Oh, I don't want no trouble.
Afraid of change.
I don't want no trouble. It's always, I don't want no trouble. And so it's difficult. It's definitely a tricky thing.
I mean, I wish that like someone would be like, oh, your shit's kind of funny. I'd love to have it on my wall. I'd be like, cool, I'll pay for it.
Yeah. So whoever's listening, if you're in LA or surrounding areas, you got a wall in a public place, I'll holler at a young Kushner over here.
I'll come and do it for free.
You see that?
$3.99.
Yeah.
Free 99? Are you out of your mind? We're giving it away.
I'm in love with my customer. Sit and Sleep will beat anyone's advertised price, so your mattress is free. That's some old school LA shit. So, Sean, I know maybe you have another question for Kush over here regarding that, because you've been doing well, man. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. What do you say to people that I guess they haven't hit that wall yet? You know what I mean? Like, I know it's not that you just go to people and go, hey, have you hit the wall?
Yeah.
And I know, you said earlier that you don't really like push things onto people, but that young person, kid or adult who's just like not sure where to go with it, like, what's the end result? Like, what do you tell them? Like, just
like what's the advice when you're dealing with the demons and with the ill feeling and the way you don't fit in, and you know you're already drinking too much or smoking too much or doing other shit too much.
What I like to say to people are
like indicators.
The two things that I like to say to people are you sick and tired of being sick and tired?
mm-hmm.
And what type of life do you want? A mediocre at best, or do you want a full life? So it's like, do you want to have like a mediocre life where you're struggling and you fucking don't want to get out of bed because life is hard, like already? Or do you want to like, find the skills to reach your full potential?
Yeah.
Like those are like the things I ask people.
Yeah. That's very good. And depending on how you answer that for yourself,
Yeah.
If it's like, man, it's like, bitch, my shit is, I'm good.
Yeah, it's
then
like,
that's what it is.
It's
but if it isn't, only right?
Yeah, it's straight up. It's attraction, not promotion, is what they tell us, in AA and stuff like that. Like that's the way you're supposed to operate.
Attraction, not promotion.
Attraction rather than promotion. You're not supposed to push it on anyone. Like that's why like people think it's a cult shit. If I was out being like, you should be sober, and like people would be like, fuck you, bro. Like that sounds like
to do, man.
That sounds like some Jehovah's Witness shit or like some Scientology shit. Yeah. Like, come on in, we'll show you a few things, but then we're keeping you.
Exactly.
Like, no, dude. Like if anyone tried to be like that with me, I'd be like, fuck you, bro. No. Like that's I'm not into it.
Yeah. If you're not.
So it's like for me, it's like when someone sees it, like my life is dope, and they're like, oh. So how'd you like get your shit together?
Right.
I'd be like, this, and this. And they'd be like, fuck, I got to do all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds hard. I'm like, all right, well, you want to keep,
suffer.
You want to live in Suffrage City? Like,
yeah. Or do you want to tent up there, or you want to take a chance?
Or you want to tent down there, or you want like the condo, like with beachfront view?
Yeah. I think the feeling is that I think a lot of people just they medicate, sort of, if that's even the right word, to get out of that mindset, right? When you think about any drug, right, for the most part, it's to sort of experience another frame of mind, another state of being that is not your normal whatever. But if your normal is sort of like, man, I kind of want to get out of here a lot, or I just want to get out of here sometimes recreationally, then you choose those things. And I think maybe for a lot of people, why they don't become sober and they just feel like I can manage this until it really spirals out of control, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is because they're like, well, if I can't, take my mind on a vacation from my mind, then that's going to be even worse than this. And so maybe the question I have is that, for those people, is there, does that change? Do the depressive thoughts, the self-doubt, the awkwardness, the OCDs, whatever, do they in fact get better?
Yeah.
When you're over that hump of like, okay, I'm sober, this is year one, does it really go away, or do you just learn how to manage it differently?
You learn how to manage it better, then sometimes it'll go away, and then sometimes it comes back. And then that's why it's like, because life on life's terms, it's like, dude, like life's a trip. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's, a cakewalk. Sometimes things are fun. Sometimes they're fucking not fun. And like, it doesn't matter if you're sober or drinking or partying, like that's for everybody across the board. Right. So like for someone that like chooses to stay sober, they recommend that you constantly are like working with other people and like staying involved, because for the times when things get shitty when you're helping somebody else, that's why it's like a lot of like people go out and they're trying to like help other people get sober. It's like when you're helping somebody,
you're in the mix. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It's like it's hard to think about the fact that like today my life sucks. I didn't pay my car payment because I'm struggling at work, and like life is showing up and I'm sober and I don't like how things are happening and I kind of want to fucking just give up. Like you don't like if that's what's happening that morning, but then like you go meet up with a guy that's coming off the streets and you're trying to help him out that day.
That's dope.
You forget about your shit.
Right.
And
you snap yourself out of it.
So then then you're helping some random dude, and then you get through the day, and rather than being like, start obsessing like, oh my God, my life sucks. This isn't working for me. Yeah. I'm going to just fucking drink it all away and give up.
That's good.
And instead of thinking like that, you're helping someone, and then you get through the day, and then you realize like, oh, I feel better. Like I've been helping someone. And then like, then after slowly but surely, like, you know, like there's ups and downs. So then like things start getting better again. And then you get through that hump because you're helping somebody and you forget about your shit. So that's why they say like, stay connected, stay helping people.
And give away what, you know.
Yeah. What you got for free.
What you got for free. Yeah. What you're at the source of. I don't know if it's around here somewhere. But I used to put a lot of like these helpful messages on walls, you know, before that became like super corny, and now it's in advertising and stuff. But you can see there it is in the white. Giving is receiving, right? That's it, right? Because the act of giving, right, is transactional. So you get something back, even though you're giving something away, right? That's a Zen idea, and you just talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Dope shit.
I was thinking about like you say, you go to like Peru or whatever. And what's been helping me is like, and I'm not doing it all the time, but when I see people that are like still partying, I'm just like reminded, like, man, I'm glad you know, like you see your boy at 6 a.m. and you're just like,
smells like shit.
He's on coke.
Looks like shit.
Got that fucking that old beer smell.
Yeah.
that mildewy smell, and you're like,
and it's almost like to the point where it, you know, it's sickening almost. You're just like, it's like. What used to be fun smells like poison now. What used to be adventure is death. And so I'm sure when you go out and sometimes you go out and rescue some of these people, you're probably reminded like,
oh yeah, for sure,
some crazy shit.
And it's also, it's like when you go out and you like, if I go out to like a bar or a club, because like every now and then I still go out with my friends and shit, and like sometimes it's still like it's beer ads and shit like that. Like they look so appealing sometimes. It's just like. They got that like they got that look that look like it's just gonna taste good. It looks appealing
after a day of hard work. A nice cold brew.
It looks super appealing. But like
put
you
some
go
ribs
out
on the grill. Come on, now.
Go out to go to a club, and if you want to like really feel better about yourself, if that's like the life that you choose to like take is like cleaning up or whatever, and you go out, just wait around till 2 a.m. And you see people start just, you know, falling over themselves. Girls that like showed up like all like put together and like all pretty and like went out like and then like their makeup's all smeared, their hair's a fucking mess.
It's the worst. Back when, man, I really didn't have any money. Like I used to go to bars or whatever. I mean, I didn't do it a lot, but in Italian they say scarpetta, right? And scarpetta means with the piece of bread, after you finish your meal, you clean the plate, right, of the sauce. That's scarpetta. So I would do scarpetta. I would just like be at the house. Oh, come on, you want to go over there with a homie or whatever? And we go to like a bar at like 1:35, you know, right when everyone's exiting, sober than a motherfucker. And then, you know, you're like in full control. Okay, boom, you know what I mean? And we would scarpetta with girls, you know, at the time.
Yeah,
scarpetta.
Yeah. And it's a technique. But I also saw that, man, I'm now not one of them, right? And it was like, man, you can't even, you know, express yourself. You're slurring. You're all over the goddamn place. You know, in a way, why would you poison yourself?
If you were in the jungle, I think they would call that a predator.
But it's scarpetta.
I gotta put some exotic shit on it just to make it, just to sell it to myself. Yeah, it's definitely predator. Predatory.
Man, that's good work, Sean. Man, yeah. I commend you, bro, because I think helping people is, you know, the best form of just giving, especially even if it's anonymous. I know you get paid. And it's like your career, and that's dope, helping people, period. But, you know, for those who struggle with shit, it's not that easy. You know, it's not like I'm good. You know, there's so many factors involved with getting sober. There's so many triggers that are involved, and there's so many resources available to you. And, you know, one day you're fine, and next day you were doing coke for 3 days. And you're like, what the fuck, you know? And you can't believe this is you. You like look in the mirror like, damn. But you can't stop. And there's not a lot of people that just reach out to you, like even in your own circle. Because if you're at that stage, your circle's probably not that clean anyway. And you know, there's just not a lot of people reaching out. I went to AA for my first 30 days, and that helped a lot. And, you know, shout out to people that tell people, you know.
And also shout outs to people that notice that the homie or the homegirl like disappears or, you know, always, you know, blacks out or, you know, any of these kind of things. Because it's very difficult to like say to someone like, hey, I think we should sit down and talk. You know, like that confrontation, like people, they want to be liked and loved for who they are. And so it's that confrontation. It's good to speak up, and it's also good to share.
Yeah, and I also feel like I'm not a real friend, like, if I don't say anything to people.
Right.
If we're really friends, like, I feel like people who care about you tell you the truth.
Yeah.
People who don't give a fuck. It's just
sometimes
like,
it's difficult because
know?
There's so many defenses and excuses that you'll get. Maybe you'll try to say something or try to be helpful, but if your timing is off, you'll lose that friend. They'll just X you out of their lives. You know what I mean?
And
that's a common thing.
To protect their illness.
Right, exactly. And then it's tricky waters to navigate, because let's say you love this person and you anticipate that you'll get X'd out. And so you don't choose that, but you got to find the time. But
that's okay too, I realize, because if someone X's you out for trying to help them,
depends.
I feel like
depends how they hear it, though. You know, sometimes they hear it in the worst fucking way.
No,
it's like,
I hear
you, man, for coming up to me like this.
But I'm not gonna.
It's not worth that sometimes.
No,
better to stick around.
You can never apologize for trying to help your friend,
right?
Even if you lose your friend, and that I should never speak up. Like, that's something that I'm, you know, practicing just in everyday life. Like, say what you mean what you say, and if you know, tell someone what's right. Like, now when my friends call me and they're like, hey, you want to go do it? I'm like, man, you know I'm trying to get sober. Like, why would you? Yeah, it's not even a joke.
That's not cool. Yeah.
You know?
When they know, when you said the statement, boom, I'm working on this.
No, and I tell them,
don't tempt me with some bullshit.
Don't come around me, or I won't go around with you. Right. I'm not going around if I don't trust myself.
Right.
And I ask, like, hey, don't bring the coke around me. Like, you know, if you're my friend, and good friends will listen. I'm like, oh, he's not partying right now. Like, my phone is dead. But I'm not going to apologize for being vocal and telling people, because if something were to happen to me or that person,
that's also true.
I don't want to be like, damn, I could have said something to him.
Because then you live with that guilt and that regret. That's a tough one. Yeah.
I just feel like if you love someone, love them. You know, if you half love them, half love them.
Yeah.
And if you say fuck them, no, sir.
Boom, Sean. Man, I know we started off on art and we ended up on all this, but I think this is very, very important.
And his shirt is dope.
And his shirt is though.
Gucci, man.
You know, because
Gucci sober.
You know, like most.
And he lost weight.
It's fucking looking good.
No, because a lot of artists, like, you know, they cocoon a lot. You know, they're isolators, not necessarily because they're not social or anything, or because they're so awkward. No, it's just because that's the nature of the work. You got to spend time with yourself, working on stuff. It's not, in most cases, it's not a collaborative process. You know what I mean? So your words and your experience, I think we're gonna go far and wide now. So that's dope. On top of course, your art. So where can people find you online?
I've got Instagram, Sean Kush, SeanKush. I got a website.
Well, your real last name is Kush?
My real last name is Sean Kushner. Yeah.
It was inevitable.
It's crazy. And it's so funny because, like, growing up, like, my brothers, my dad, like, everybody be like, Kush! Like, growing up, and, like, and all four of us would, like, turn because we all have the same fucking nickname. But my last name is Kushner. It's Kushner. Yeah. And my website's SeanKushart.com. Yeah.
Boom.
If you're struggling with anything and you want to talk to someone, drop a line on my DM. Don't be scared. I'm down to talk to anybody. Try to help anybody I can.
Man, that's dope, man.
Oh yeah,
man. Fantastic having you here, my man. Thank you so much.
Love you, bud.
Yes, sir. Love you too, man. All right, everybody.
Brother, thank you for your story, man. I might drop you a DM. You never know.
Hey, you never know.
I ain't got 75K though, but I'm gonna.
I
might just need a.
By the way, Sean,
I might need a little message.
Sean talks a good game. He's DMing you by tonight. I'm kidding. Peace, everybody. See you on the next one.
Peace.
Boom. That's it. That was Sean. Crazy life, crazy art, but overall dope. So as always, we are at Happy No Fear on Instagram. Please tell a friend. You can find us as always everywhere, wherever podcasts are available, and give us a rating, man. That would really help us out, and would further our efforts here. This podcast also featured Moldtown. At Moldtown, his name is Sean McDonald, and as you know, he's my partner. He's doing all the sound stuff on this podcast, so give him a shout. So that's it. See you next week. Bye-bye.